this point in time. That's only where we can get any. But as of now, we're still playing politics with it, and there's not going to be any solution.
Okay, let's use that opportunity to welcome other guest that was mentioned by Alero earlier, Mr. Kazim Akireti. He's a journalist. Welcome to Sunrise.
Thank you very much.
You've listened to part of what has been said. You're a journalist. You cover most part of the country, and you have an understanding, I want to believe, of what the issues are. What's your thought in terms of the division that we see amongst our political leaders that might be fueling this problem of insecurity?
Well, absolutely, I agree with the submission of my colleague. In my years of practice journalism, I found that we talk less of patriotism. For every issue, everything that is happening, we easily recall to cleavages in terms of ethnicity, in terms of religion. We can easily just identify that with everything that happened. And that has been the major point, the major problem behind this insecurity in Nigeria. And for this movement, it will take men and women of candor, of courage, to stand up and say, this is the way to go, and then we will really go there. Even within our profession, the media, we are pounding some of these cleavages, and we let ourselves so easily to some of these preponderances that we might not be able to see things clearly from a patriotic point of view. We all know the genesis of insecurity is political, but we try to run away from it and then tend to say it is economical, it is social, it is religion, when we all knew that by the time that politicians are displaying auspicious wealth, when politicians are gathering people that are not, they are gathering civilians, arming civilians, arming thugs, because of their political interest, we will never raise an eyebrow that one day this will become a cankerworm. And that is exactly what has happened.
Okay, you've raised a number of issues here, but let's start with the one that comforts, that is connected to your profession or our profession as journalists. What is it we're doing wrong? As a group of people identified as journalists in Nigeria, that is also adding to the problem of insecurity in Nigeria as journalists. Are we allowing ourselves to use our emotion in the course of our profession, and which will be described as unethical? Are we allowing our emotion to get into things?
That's exactly what we have been doing. Because some of us do not appreciate that there are some elements in conflict reporting that we need to respect. And because every day as journalists we are confronted with conflicts. And what we are trying to do is to address this conflict, to get the best out of it, for the people to really appreciate it. And by the time we are doing it, we are becoming a victim of that conflict. And when we are reporting, we do not try to put behind our emotions. And of course, we also don't put behind us that the ownership structure does not really matter. What matters at that point in time is patriotism, that Nigeria should be one. And so we cleverly even delineate the Lagos axis from the Kaduna axis, from the Abuja axis, from Ibadan axis of the press. And I keep asking our colleagues, there is no dichotomy. A media man is a media man. Look at the guy that interviewed the leaders of Boko Haram, for example. That's the guy had to go on exile. And Sheikh Shoni was arguing that within the committee you set up, why don't you have these journalists to be part of it? He named 3 people that should have been part of that committee. I'm not here to speak for the committee, but I think it's quite unfair that people who are really there to report the action, you are actually leaving them out. Look at that committee. There's no media men there. And that is quite unfortunate. Are you saying that within the Guild of Editors, within the Nigerian journalists or NAWOJ, you can't find people that can fit the bill? And these are the people that have risked their life to report what is going on about this conflict. So that's to tell you that for us, the society doesn't appreciate our job. And we ourselves are also playing the hands of the politicians. That is what is happening.
So
let me digress a bit based on one thing you just raised about patriotism. Do you think that maybe our children, from when they enter nursery school, should be indoctrinated so that they grow up seeing Nigeria above self? Because right now, the point you are making is that self comes first.
Absolutely.
How are we going to reach a point where the Nigerian sees Nigeria as bigger than myself? So whatever I do, everything I do should be for the benefit of Nigeria, not for my pocket, not for myself.
Yeah, I think it's we need to show the way. We need to show examples in our homes. That's why it's going to start. Because we have a course called civics in those days. Now you turn it to what we call social science, or whatever you have called it now. In those days when we learn civics, we know about patriotism. That is one thing we learned when we were in primary school. What happens today? Do we have that? You've changed the curriculum around. And even our national anthem, look at the standards of our national anthem. O God of creation, direct our noble cause, guide our leaders right, help our youth the truth to know. But do we think through these standards of the national anthem? Do we? I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength.
What's the level of honesty?
That is to defend our unity and uphold our honor and glory, so help me God. Do we do that? Those children, what they do is it's just like a rhyme for them, to them. Yeah. And we don't, because we don't exhibit it even at home to tell them, look, wait a minute, this is the meaning of what you've just recited. You must do it right here. You know, if anything happens in the school, with our neighbors, maybe an Hausa and Igbo, did you go down and say, no, that person is not an Igbo girl. Don't say an Igbo girl or an Igbo boy. He's a Nigerian. Do we say that? We don't. Yeah. And the same thing plays out even in the media. And that's why I said we practically created this dichotomy. So from one perspective of how we look at news, for example, in the southwest of the country, or what the tabloids will look at it, the northern press will not look at it from that perspective. And that is extremely dangerous for us.
Okay, let me move, because we could go on and on about this. In fact, this is a subject that we could sit and discuss for 3 hours and still not get to the bottom of it. But let's move on to the political will to solve the problem of insecurity. Mr. Mefiele, if you were to look at what the federal government of Nigeria is trying to do now, with this amnesty team or committee that has been put together, do you have a sense of will to resolve the problem, or is this just another of the committees that we have seen in the past? Do you sense the will of government to solve the problem?
The will on the part of government, that is to say seriousness,
commitment. Seriousness, commitment.
I personally do not see reasons why anybody should, at this very point in time, be pessimistic, be doubting sincerity of government as far as this particular proposal is concerned. I think that we should give the government a chance. The government should be allowed, at least for 1 second, to prove itself.
But the people are asking questions because these Boko Haram people are faceless. Okay, today's paper says that 5,000 of them may be granted amnesty. 5,000. How do we arrive at that figure? Have we seen them? Have we counted them? Have they themselves come out?
What that paper, I was very interested in that. And I got it clearer. What the paper said, if you go closely into it, is the 5,000 is talking about are, it says, children and the wives of those who were, that I got it.
Not the men, not the Boko Haram members themselves.
No, those who were themselves under detention and they are to be released. Yes. That is what it said.
So what therefore does the paper say is the intent of this route that they're taking?
That is amnesty.
No, granting amnesty to the children and the wives.
He said some moments ago something about amnesty. Yes. People are agitating for it. I think there has to be a starting point. For instance, government says, okay, we are about to grant amnesty to these insurgents.
Who have come out and